Check out this video to see how you can turn an old piece of furniture into a Christmas keepsake. And what's really cool about this one is after Christmas, you can flip the tabletop over to a cool texture for the rest of the year. This has a little bit of glue on it. I'm gonna use a spatula to get the glue off. It looks like it was hot glued. I highly recommend that you take a sanding pad. This is in a fine to medium grit. And then just in a swirly pattern, rough over the top of the surface. What this is gonna do is it's gonna break up the gloss and it's gonna allow whatever you put on top to stick. Use a tack cloth or a damp rag to wipe off any dust. Satin latex paint is my favorite base coat for furniture. And I recommend these little rollers because you have a lot better control. So I'm just gonna paint right over this, and it might need a few coats. I'm gonna let this set with a cover on it to keep it wet while I wait for this to dry so I can do a second coat. I went to visit my pet chickens while the paint was drying. There's my white. There's Tilly. I did another layer of base coat and then I let it dry. I'm taking a brighter red and swirling it into my base coat color in a random way. Then I roll my roller into it and transfer that onto the tabletop. I roll it on lightly in different directions to give it a marbled effect. This will also hide some of the imperfections that were already a part of this tabletop. I got this group of 9 stencils off of Amazon for $9.99. The first thing I always recommend with stenciling is to definitely use a stencil adhesive spray. I have the front side of the stencil facing down. Spray on an even coat to the back side. The stencil is ready to place when it's tacky but not wet. Okay, just make sure it's pressed on everywhere. This is a classic stencil brush, but I find that any brush with stiff bristles will work just fine. I like to use a pouncing method when applying the paint. Inexpensive craft paint works great for stenciling. Remember to keep dabbing off the excess paint from the stencil brush. I'm using a smaller brush because I have better control in these small areas. I like to build up layers of color with my stenciling. That way, it's more visually appealing. You can always take a peek under the stencil to see what other colors you might need. I'm bringing a contrasting color around some of the edges to bring visual interest and definition. I keep building those layers of color for visual interest. The big reveal. Taping off a border is easy to do. Remember, anything can be touched up. When everything was completely dry, I rolled on a water-based top coat. My top coat dried completely clear. I am so excited about this table. Have a very blessed and Merry Christmas. Check out my channel for more specialty paint techniques and many other creative ideas.